Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. You know, recently I put the Prinsu roof rack, it's sitting up there right above me now, on the Toyota Tacoma. And it comes with a wind deflector. And I got to thinking, you know, before I put that wind deflector on, does it really do anything? Or is it just a gimmick, an aesthetic thing? I mean, I do think it looks good on the front of the truck, whether it really does anything or not. So I got to get some gas. Gas right now is like dirt cheap, $2.49, $39 a gallon, something like that. So we're going to head to the gas station and we're going to find out if I get any noise out of this thing without the wind deflector on it. Because I'll be curious after I get the light put on the front and all that stuff and the wind deflector, if it makes any difference. So this is kind of a point of reference video for me too. We're going to find out. So let's go to the gas station, then we're going to go for a ride, see if we hear anything. All right, been cruising around a little bit, had to get gas, remember, and yeah, I think you can hear a little bit. It's a windy day here anyway. And fortunately for me, if noise bothered me, and obviously it doesn't, I assume you can hear the exhaust in the background. It's not a big deal. But if you're very sensitive to noise, like wind noise, then it might bother you a little bit. I can hear some more noise coming off of the truck. And again, keep in mind, I don't have the wind deflector on the front. That might actually lessen some of it a little bit, because right now it's just coming right through all the cross members and front bar and all the stuff, the sides, right off of the front of the truck. And then of course, wind blowing in from the side. I'll be quiet for a second here. We're traveling at 55 miles an hour. Let you hear the truck. I mean, it's, you know, it's nothing horrible. And again, unless you're very sensitive to that, you know, which I understand. I mean, I'm sensitive to a lot of things in the truck. If there's a rattle or some kind of a high-pitched noise, that drives me insane. So I can relate. However, in this case, with it being kind of a low tone, if you will, doesn't really make that much of a difference to me. Now, what about the way the truck feels? This might be kind of a crazy thing, and really, it would be more of an issue if you had a load on top of the truck. And I'm talking about any kind of swaying in the truck. Well, of course not. I mean, you shouldn't get any of that with something as low profile as this anyway. It doesn't mean that to the nth degree, it wouldn't affect the truck at all, because of course, I've added something to the top of the truck that's going to catch more wind. One other thing I was interested in, you know, it does have some weight to it. I keep reducing the hauling capacity of my truck, right? Every time I put something on that has weight, you lower the payload capacity. This thing weighs, if I'm not mistaken, it was about 40 pounds, something like that, 38 and a half, somewhere around there. So, of course, I have reduced the payload capacity by another 35, 40 pounds. I have the sport bar on the back, that's about 90 pounds, something like that. That's 130 pounds, plus whatever else I've added to the truck. The bed mat weighs about, I don't know, 50 pounds or something like that. So I keep reducing the payload capacity of my truck, which is kind of ironic. You know, you put a roof rack on the truck so that you can haul more stuff, but by putting the roof rack on the truck in conjunction with other things that I have on the truck, I'm actually reducing what I can haul. I just find it kind of funny. Does it matter to me? Not at all. Am I concerned about it? Not at all. And honestly, the only thing that ever really concerned me when it comes to payload in the Tacoma is when I used to live in Ohio and I would haul loads of dirt. So I'd go to the greenhouse or whatever, the landscaping place, and they would drop a bucket load of mulch or topsoil or whatever in the back of the truck, and you'd always see the truck go, wow. That always worried me because I didn't want to break anything. I didn't want to break the leaf springs or blow out a shock, or who knows what could happen, right? But that's the only time that I ever really worry about payload capacity. You know, adding stuff like this, not really a big deal to me. I don't have any issues doing this kind of stuff at all, even though I know deep down, yes, it does reduce the payload capacity. As far as the roof rack itself, in appearance, you know, I've had it on for a few days now, and I think it looks pretty good. It makes the truck look a little bit tougher, and it's going to be better once I have that wind deflector across the front. I mean, right now, all I have is that aluminum silver, it's almost like chrome, bar across the front of the truck. And if you didn't watch the install video, you know, I left that off the wind deflector intentionally because putting the light bar on is much easier. You just have better access without that wind deflector across the front. So that'll go on last once I have the LED light bar on the front. I think it's going to look pretty good. I think it's going to look even better. Again, Prinsu probably has one of the best looking, for what it is, roof racks that you can get. There are tons of different ones out there. I had looked at a few others, and I decided to go with Prinsu, honestly, because they're, I believe, #1. Everybody goes with them, and I thought, you know, I didn't want to get into something that didn't fit or doesn't look good or is of poor quality. You know, the Prinsu rack came undamaged because they packaged it well. None of the powder coating issues that I've had on other parts, like the sport bar for the Jeep Gladiator, the sport bar for the Tacoma, that bumper that I put on the front with its weird welds and stuff on it, you know, it's got like extra weld in it or something. You know, nothing like that. I didn't have any issues like that with the Prinsu system. All came really well. And I will say one thing, in the installation, which I'm not sure I mentioned before in that video, it went together exactly like it's supposed to. The only place I would ding Prinsu, and I mentioned it heavily in the assembly video, is that it didn't come with any directions. Didn't come with any instructions on how to put it on, nor was there any paperwork telling me where to go. Now, maybe Prinsu is just assuming that in the day and age we live in, you know, with the internet, that I'm smart enough to realize if I go to their website or just search it on the web with all of the YouTube videos out there, that I'll be able to figure out how to put it on, which is exactly what I did. I ended up going to Prinsu's website, and they have a good video, but I will say there is one thing that they left out, and that was what that little strip, or that weather stripping part, it's not really weather stripping, it looks like weather stripping, but it's the part that goes across the wind deflector to keep it from contacting your truck. They didn't mention in the video, unless I missed it, which, you know, is always possible, but they didn't mention in the video what that was for. And when they were all done, I couldn't see close enough to know what it was, or where it went. I kind of had to figure that out myself by looking at pictures. Again, having to go to the web and search for stuff without any kind of instruction or help was kind of a drag. So I'll ding them for that. They need to provide at least a blurb telling you where to go to figure out how to put it together. I mean, it's not complicated, but if you've never done it before, you'd be taking a guess. And one thing, and I know I'm harping on this, but one thing that I'll mention is the crossbars, for example. The members that go across, they have slots on one side and are flat on the other so that you can add things to them. If you put it in upside down, or maybe mix and match as you're going, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be taking the thing apart, redoing part of it, just because you didn't know or you didn't realize that that was supposed to be done. Leave a comment. Let me know if you put a rooftop rack on, whether it's Prinsu or not, it doesn't matter. Were you disappointed by how much you could actually hear it? Does the wind noise drive you nuts? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator, and Mod Driven, all about, right now, the Mercedes-Benz. Lots of mods and things going on to that car. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And while you're at it, smash the subscribe button here, too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.